had one of the weirdest arguments I've ever had with a friend. For starters, I need to know if I am in the wrong, so keep that part in mind while reading/listening. Several of my friends have young children. One friend, in particular, I'll call her Sarah for this post, wants to create a child-centered household. Her son, who is 3.5, is a really picky eater. She won't make him eat anything he doesn't like, so he eats the same things a lot. I only have one other friend with a really specific diet for her child, but in their case it is completely justified. Her child has a really serious allergy. She is super thoughtful about always packing him food, though, instead of having other people try to navigate his food rules. My other friends try to feed their children healthy food for the most part, but if you are willing to babysit, they are way less picky about what you feed them. Sarah is having another baby. She was scheduled to be induced yesterday. The whole thing was a little crazy. The induction date got moved up suddenly. Then, her parents, who were supposed to watch her son, had issues with their flight. Then, they decided to drive. Long story short, the day before yesterday, she called me pretty upset around 11:30 p.m. and begged me to watch her son. Apparently, she had only been desperately calling people and couldn't find a babysitter, and she had to go into the hospital early yesterday morning. My job is really flexible, so I agreed to call out sick. No big deal, and Sarah was starting to sound a little freaked out. She said that her parents could pick him up around 3 or 4. Anyway, yesterday morning was a mess on their way to the hospital. They were running late. Last night they had hastily packed a bag for their son, which they hadn't thought that they'd need to do. They took him to the drive-thru at Chick father-in-law A and then got caught in traffic. While they were driving to my apartment, she got the call from her mother that they had changed their minds and were driving in. When she called me from the car, she was irate. I agree that driving probably was a mistake and lost them more time than waiting on a flight, but she's mad at them, mad at her husband, and embarrassed that things are going so badly. She's a huge perfectionist. I said that I'd keep him longer. She told me that she should have had a home birth. About 20 minutes later, she dropped him off. They forgot the car seat and stroller and his bag of snacks. I figure it's not worth bothering them, so I shrug it off. Both the kid and I are still in our pajamas, so I put in an old Disney movie and we lay around in the living room all morning. Around 11:30, he's hungry. I don't have kids and wasn't expecting to be watching this one, so my kitchen is pretty limited in terms of kid food. I can't drive him anywhere because there's no car seat. I live downtown, so I don't really want to walk anywhere with him without the stroller. I know he likes Chick father-in-law A, so I thought about DoorDashing, but I don't know what she orders for him and I didn't want to read an entire kid's menu to a toddler. I do have a few things that are similar to things he eats at home. I have these organic Bernios, from this brand Annie's that I love, that are similar to SpaghettiOs, which I know he gets as a treat a lot. I cook them, but as I'm putting them in the bowl, I remember how picky he is and how he hates new food. I think about it for a second and tell him they are SpaghettiOs. He doesn't realize. He eats the whole bowl. We watch movies some more. Around noon my friend calls to check in. I'm sort of confused. Isn't she in labor? She said that she isn't in labor, they just started the medicine a little while ago. Okay, I guess. She asks how her son is. I say fine. We watched movies and ate lunch. She asks if he ate his lunch thing she packed. I walked over to the kitchen where he couldn't hear me and said no. She was like, why? I packed everything. I laughed and told her about the missing stroller, car seat, and food bag. She starts yelling at her husband. Basically, she said that she couldn't count on him for basic things. He wasn't helpful to her, he left all their poop in the car, and that now her car was going to smell like bologna. Then, she told him to take a walk because his face made her sick. Anyway, she starts crying, and I try to console her. I said that I found something he would eat. I even said that Bernios were organic, so maybe she could switch to something healthier. She's been trying to do this for him. She asked how I got him to try them. I laughed and said I told him they were SpaghettiOs and he didn't know the difference. She starts crying more and says that I broke his trust by lying to him about food. I was like, Sarah, he's 3. I doubt that he'll even remember what he ate tomorrow. She snaps that she'll call me later and hangs up on me. I could tell she was pissed at me. Important info. I did not lie to her about what he ate, and I would never feed him something his mom wasn't okay with knowingly. In this case, she was actually happy he ate it until she found out that I lied to him about what it was. The kid had a great time with me yesterday. We made a blanket fort, watched movies, and I made him homemade Play-Doh. His grandparents picked him up around 10 o'clock that night. I haven't talked to Sarah since that phone call. Her husband texted me later that night to arrange for the grandparents to get their son. Sarah hasn't sent anything. I have already been told that I will be invited to meet the new baby, so I just want to know if this is something that I am wrong about and should apologize for or not.